Fly from Boston to London with me as somebody who has OCD and who has been doing exposure and response prevention therapy for the last 8 years and who has lived abroad for the last 6 years. I'm in my 6th year now. I'm heading back to London today. I'm sad. I've been here for a good month. I did not get a lot of sleep last night. I always wake up so early the day I go. I just get anxiety. I'm like, oh, like, what if I leave and this happens? What if this happens? I've lived overseas for like 6 years now, and it's gotten easier, but it's still always really sad and anxiety producing. This is why I wash my hair every day. Having curly hair is great until you wake up first thing in the morning. Just went for a nice walk, swim in the ocean. Now just finishing up packing before I like shower and get myself together to go. Packing used to be an ordeal. I always just wait till the last minute now because I just throw in whatever I need, and yeah, it's just not that big of a deal for me anymore, thank goodness. I do have a weird thing with what outfit I wear. I can't wear all black. I have to have like a little bit of color in there, black and white. But yeah, when I go, I get a lot more, like I need to hug people a certain amount of times, or like kiss people a certain amount of times, or I just start getting anxious leading up. And I'm leaving here at 3:30, so I have about 2 hours. That kind of stresses me out a bit because I just keep on going through like what if this happens, what if this happens, like if I'm away, what if this happens, what all this stuff, or like, yeah, and I can go pretty dark. So luckily though, that has subsided a lot over the last 6 years, so obviously it's still there to a degree. Also bringing back all of my OCD notes from when I was in the treatment center for OCD like 8 years ago. I randomly found this, which I just thought was funny. I'll be going through this for sure. A few years ago, before I would leave, I would shut down for like probably 1 to 2 days, and I'd have like anxiety for probably 4 to 5 days before actually going. Now I luckily don't do that and don't get that. I used to also like sob like hysterically every single time I left for probably the first like 2-3 years of living abroad, and now luckily, like I said, like exposure therapy, and I come back a lot, which is great. It's helped with the anxiety, but it's still there obviously to a degree. Yeah, just because, and it's also just sad in general. Like people without OCD would be sad to leave their family. It also helps, I've found, having exciting things to look forward to when I go back. So like I land on Wednesday morning, and on that Friday I have the Ascot, and then on Saturday I'm seeing a friend during the day, and I have a friend's birthday that evening, and then I can just relax on Sunday, and then I have a week that I can just catch up on all the work that I've definitely been putting off, and then again I have another birthday party and like more friends to hang out with and all that stuff. So I am so excited to go back, but it's really sad to leave obviously too. So I've always found that the hardest part for me is the anticipatory anxiety. Like when I'm at the airport, I'm fine, but it's like the leading up to it is what makes me really sad. And sometimes when I get to the airport, I'll cry for a minute, and then I'm good, and I can put my headphones in and I can compartmentalize really well. But yeah, this right now is the hardest time for me. Like I don't even like packing because I'm like, I'm missing out on time with my family, you know, like every single second counts, you know. I just get so stressed out. All right, we just checked my bag and now we're heading into security. This is why I don't wear makeup while I travel, because I cry. Just got through security. My OCD has been really weird, to be honest, this flight, but I just kind of have to remember that like just because I think something doesn't make it true because I'm like seeing signs, but I just have to remember that the signs that I see are only there because I'm actively like looking for them. But for some reason, just randomly, my OCD is just really weird. It happens sometimes though, every once in a blue moon. It's also mixed with a bit of flight anxiety. I actually had a panic attack at this airport a few years ago. I was going back to Dublin with my ex-partner at the time, and I've noticed that when I see something that triggers me, no matter how scary it is, if I talk about it, I get more worked up. So I always try to talk about it after instead of in the moment, because I've found that for myself, and every single person is different. Some people need to talk about it in the moment and that helps them and makes them feel better. For me, it just gets me really upset and really worked up because I feel like when I talk about things that they make it real. I used to think that not talking about it was bad, but I'm just postponing it, right? So that's why I'm being so vague right now, because I'm not going to actively tell you what's scaring me until after, because if I talk about it once again, it feels real to me and I get really worked up. And if not, I can kind of self-regulate and like self-soothe and like distract and positively reverse and think about other things, you know, and all of that stuff, because I found focusing on it like in the moment typically makes it worse for me personally. Other people might be different, but Yeah, that's just a coping little tool that I have in my belt right now. This isn't even my gate. I need to go to my gate because this is just a quiet place where I could say this. You know what I've also found is that like the majority of people have flight anxiety. Like no matter how much you fly, the only way to get rid of it is to fly more. But like no matter how calm and collected people look, odds are probably 50% of your flight is nervous or has had like a nervous little anxious moment at some point. So you're definitely like not alone. You're probably the least alone in your anxiety when you're at the airport. I'm so tired. I hope I fall right to sleep. We just landed. I look traumatic. All right, so I have put myself together. I have showered. I have started to unpack. We're not all there yet. That plane ride was one of the hardest plane rides that I've had in a really long time, to be honest. I just got my period, so that also makes a lot of sense. I got 1 hour of sleep, and that's being very generous. And then on top of that, I started getting some really sad, intrusive thoughts because of the recent plane crash that happened in India. So I just basically kept on having a lot of intrusive thoughts about the plane crashing, and one of those thoughts was like what my family would think and all of that stuff, and I just could not get a grip because there was like the thoughts were just getting sadder and sadder and sadder and sadder, and then I just went to the bathroom and I cried for like 15-20 minutes. What? Like, I can't remember the last time I had like that big of a cry, but I think I was so emotionally exhausted from, not only did I have a few glasses of alcohol the night before, and alcohol is a depressant, so that's on me, but I only got like 5 hours of sleep because I stayed up late for my sister and I woke up early to be with my mom, and then the sadness of leaving my family after like 4 or 5 weeks together, and then being on the plane sleep deprived, and then also frustratingly not being able to fall asleep. Also kept on dinging. People kept on pressing their buttons and it kept on dinging, and I kept on thinking that the flight was going to go down. And typically I'm a really good flyer, but because of all the plane crashes recently, it's kind of just, you know, elevated my fear a little bit. But like I said before, the only way to get over the fear of flying is to fly more. So maybe I need to book a flight somewhere. Oh gosh, twist my arm, I'll do it. Long story short, I cannot tell you the amount of signs that I saw that the plane was gonna crash. The anxiety that I felt like my intuition telling me to get off the plane. Obviously, like right before the doors closed, it was like, I think I might need to get off. And then I was like checking myself. I'm like, nope, you're not getting off, you're not getting off, you're not getting off. And I'm like, you have no control over this. If you crash, you crash. Like, you know, kind of thing. And here I am in London. We made it, thank goodness, but it just goes to show that your feelings are not fact. Your thoughts are not reality. If you look out for something, if you look out for signs, if you look out for warnings, if you look out for the things you're scared of, you will find them, or you will notice them. This has happened to me before, but typically it's not as intense, and I got through it, and I'm so happy. I'm gonna be able to look back at this moment the next time I have flight anxiety, because I will, because flying isn't something that I do every single week or every single month, and I'm gonna be able to look back and be like, did you see how many signs there were? Did you see how many gut feelings I had to get off the plane and not go on and not go back to London below all this stuff on that specific day? And I still did it, and I was okay. So that next time that happens, I'll be able to get on the flight. And the reason I was able to get on this flight and not have a panic attack and not go through all of those emotions is because I had done it a few times before then, when I had a full-on meltdown, panic attacks, you know, the whole thing. It just goes to show, the more you push yourself, the bigger your world gets. Because I could just stop flying. If I listened to my anxiety, I would never get on another plane, but I did. And the worst thing that happened is I got an hour of sleep. And to be honest, not ideal, but it is what it is. But here I am back in London, ready to go about my fun weekend plans and getting things done today. So needless to say, I'm giving myself quite a bit of credit, patting myself on the back. If you struggle with OCD, exposure and response prevention therapy is like the gold standard for treating it and feeling better. But it's also so important to have a therapist that knows what OCD is. All of the therapists at NOCD are specialized and trained in OCD treatment and exposure and response prevention therapy. You can literally go to their website, nocd.com, and you can also schedule a free consultation call with them. Thank you so much for listening and traveling with me to London. I hope that you have a great day.